I am a firm believer of being scrappy and just building the business like with what I got. And with what I had was, I think, $100, and I went on Facebook Marketplace and I bought a used mower.
Good,
Uh,
good.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming out, jumping on a call with me. And so yeah, can you maybe share a little bit of like maybe your background and everything, and then yeah, what I can help you out with.
Yeah, so I'm 19 years old. I just graduated from high school. I live in Wyoming, and I've been mowing since I was 14, 15. I started doing concrete when I was like around 14, and they're paying me $7 an hour. And then I was like, I can make money mowing in my neighborhood. So I started doing that, door knocking. And okay, I was like, okay, well, I'm making more than working in concrete. And that's when I started doing it and realizing this could be like my career. And I've been doing it since then. I've been doing obviously part time because of my school, but now that I graduated, I want to really go into it really good, like full on. And I have some clients now, and I think it's been way better because now they're like actual clients. Like they call me, I do invoices now. Um, but I have a lot of trouble knowing how to price and knowing how to. I can work and all that, and but I feel like some people take advantage of me because I'm young and they want to get the best price out of me. Well, like an actual company would do like I don't know how much to charge, but like 50 an hour or whatever, 80 an hour per man. But so some clients, I tell them like, hey, um, my hourly rate is 45, and they bring me down to 35, which I still do it because I'm still getting money because I also have another job with a landscaping company that I work for, and that one I'm making 21 an hour. I just started from high school, um, but and then I also have like my buddies that help me out with the jobs that I get. So I charge like 45 per man hour, whatever the project is. But I have trouble managing it, like money wise, and how to get more clients. It's it's been word to mouth. Is that what you say? Like when they talk about you, and that's how I get my clients.
Absolutely, yeah.
Um, I started out with business cards as well, and that helped a lot. But now it's mouth to word to mouth, or and yeah, so it's been like that, and yeah, but I don't know. I just don't know how to really actually start it. Like be really successful
Yeah,
at it.
I think the statistic is like 90% or 80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. So the number one indicator because of that is due to profit at the end of the day. And the lever that you want to basically pull on that is your pricing. That is what your pricing will dictate if you will be in business in 5 years from now. Obviously there's other factors of drive and like, you know, hungerness to like push through problems and things like that. But like it's a direct correlation of like what someone's charging is a pretty direct correlation of like their profit at the end of the day, right? So with that being said, the things that I would recommend if you're really kind of struggling trying to figure out your pricing is to just to start off is I would call your three local competitors in the area and get an average of what they're charging. Okay. Now it's okay to kind of go in a little bit underneath that just to win the jobs first. It sounds like you have some properties underneath your belt. Now, once you get that, which it seems like you have, maybe you have a handful, a couple of handfuls or something like that. Then what you want to do is start to track the data. Okay. And this is what separates the average person who's just doing this as a side hustle from someone who's taking this as a professional, like a serious career. Okay, is really digging deep into your numbers and figuring out and tracking your time of like every time you clock into that property when you're mowing or doing whatever job, landscaping, bush trimming, weed control, whatever it is, to time yourself on that property, whether it's manually or your CRM should be able to do it. Or yeah, just a pen and paper and a stopwatch. Just to time yourself on every single property. So that way you can start to build a pricing data sheet off of that. So what we used to do is just tell the customer kind of similar how you're doing, like, hey, we charge, I think back then it was like 60 an hour. It's basically $1 a minute. Um, but the problem is like once we told them that, they were like, well, what happens if you like shuffle your feet on the property and do it slowly? And I'm like, no, like we're professionals, we have commercial equipment, all this stuff. So we've kind of gone away from like telling the customer what we charge and just internally figuring out realistically what we charge. So like if once you have the data and you know that that property would takes 30 minutes to mow for one guy. Once you have that, but you have to track that data. Sometimes it's going to take 35 minutes for you to do that property. Sometimes it's going to take you 25 minutes to do the property. Each season is different. Each crew member is different. But all you want is the average. How long does it take? And if we figure that out and we say, okay, I know that that property takes 30 minutes, then you can start to go into, okay, how much am I going to charge per hour? For us, it was $60 an hour. Well, if it's 30 minutes on the property, that we would charge them $30. So we don't really, we went away from telling the customer what we charge per hour and just saying, hey, for your size lot, we charge $30. And then they don't really know whether we're there for 20 minutes or 40 minutes. It doesn't really matter. They're getting charged per visit. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
So I think understanding and diving deep into your numbers and your properties and your equipment that you have will help justify and separate you professionally to do this to do this long term wise, and that's some of the homework that you have to do now that you have a few clients is to really time yourselves on the properties because it'll change, so
Yes. Like, for instance, like I have a property that she told me how long it would take her. She said around 2 hours. I can get it done in 1 hour, and it's not that bad. And it's $70. That property that I do.
Mhm.
So it's 1 hour, so $70. So I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like with that, so like for you, because you're the owner of your own business, it may take you an hour. But if you hire your buddy or your friend or neighbor, cousin, sister, brother, whatever, it might take them 2 hours because
Yeah.
they haven't worked commercially in the lawn care before. They haven't like done it a lot. So
Yeah.
so yeah, like obviously you just want the average. For most people, it might take them 2 hours. For people, it might take them an hour. So then I'd figure out, hey, this job roughly should take roughly maybe an hour and a half, and then you would backtrack that. And instead of telling the customer, hey, I charge, what would you say, 35 an hour?
Yeah.
So instead of telling them the answers, instead of being like, hey, I charge 35 an hour, this will take me 2 hours, so it'll be 70, I would just say, do that math in your head or in your vehicle or whatever, and then come out and say, all right, sir, ma'am, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be $70. And they don't need to know how long or short. All they're paying for is a result. So whether you get it done in 30 minutes or 3 hours, it shouldn't matter to the customer. They're paying you to trim those bushes or mow the lawn, right? Or clean up the leaves. Like they just want it gone. So whether you come in there with this big vacuum and suck it up in 15 minutes, or you send 4 team members out there and they spend 2 hours on the property, it's still going to be $70. they're paying for that result. They shouldn't really be paying. Now on the back end, you are calculating the time it's going to take you, but they don't need to know that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. And what about like like right now I have a big project or in my in mine. It's a big house, big property, and they hired a company like way more professional than me, and they weren't doing the job. So then they got the name of me from another company that refers my name, and I went and I got the job at $35 an hour. It's a big project, and I like it's a cleanup, like weed pulling, cleaning the berm with the wood chips that have like also weeds, and they have like it's just a lot of garbage that the other company wasn't cleaning up. So I come in and yes, no, it was Saturday. We did 23 23.75 hours. It was three guys, including me. And so that was 35 an hour, which came out to $831 that day. And then I pay 121 an hour and then another 120. And so that leaves me off with like so it was like the one at 21 it was like $170 I believe, or 160 for the 8 9 hours that he worked. And then the other one just worked 4 hours. So it's like $95 I believe. And so that leaves me around 600 500 around there, right? And then I don't get all that profit. Like I pay myself as an employee as well, um, and then leave that money and reinvest it. I've been buying a brand new leaf blower, weed whacker, small things that I'm actually starting now because like I don't have a professional lawnmower, but I have an investor, which is my uncle, that I told him about my company and told him to support me. And so we're doing that. We're in that process, and I really want to buy like a brand new lawnmower that will leave me good stripes and nice work. Because I know how to do it, but I just don't have the equipment yet, as well. So I think that's why people are like, oh yeah, well this guy we can get it for cheaper. But I also rent like equipment if I have to. Like I have a property that I'm gonna be renting this week. Uh, a walk behind mower plus a trailer. Um, and then I just put that in the bid.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to charge like when those scenarios come in.
Okay. So a couple things. So if you're paying 20 an hour, 20 to 21 an hour, typically you want to triple that. Okay. And that will cover your overhead costs. So if you're paying your guys average, let's say $20, so you should be charging the customer 60. That's a good baseline to start. Um, that should cover majority of your costs. Okay. Um, what we do is we try to quadruple that. So if we're paying our guys 20, we want to make 80, but we're in a different mode than you. You're in like growth mode. We're not trying to grow. We're trying to make profit. So it's two different things. You're trying to get your route full. We already have our routes full. We're just trying to turn our profit knob on. Does that make sense? But
Yes.
for you just starting off and wanting to grow and get schedules and maybe get some employees down the road. So you're charging 20, I would be charging the customer 60, okay, at a minimum. And that'll give you a good baseline. You're going to have customers say that's expensive. You don't need every single customer, right? If every single customer is accepting your quote, your prices are too low. So if you go out and give them a quote for the job and you give out 5 quotes and all 5 accept, it's too low. You know,
Mhm.
that's number
Yeah,
one. Number two, I don't I I don't know what your circumstances, and I should probably ask more questions about it before I give you advice. Um, but I'm a firm believer of being scrappy and just building the business like with what I got. And with what I had was, I think, $100, and I went on Facebook Marketplace and I bought a used mower. And I didn't have any investors in my business. Larissa and I, we still own our business 100%. We own it. There's no stakeholders other than us. There's no other people that put money in, especially at such an early age. I mean, you have so much education that you're going to have to go through in the first few years that like um I think in the beginning you're just kind of figuring things out right now. I don't know if you necessarily need an investor per se. Um, you know, I know you said that you need a new mower. Are these large properties or are these push mowing properties?
One is a push one, and the rest are riding ones.
Okay. So I would probably try to figure out a defined niche is what they call it. So that way you're not like a jack of all trades. Okay. So for us, it would be so easy for us to pick up like a 1 acre property or a 2 acre or 3 acre or even a 5 acre. But where we live, there are so many small residential houses that we don't need to mow everybody's lawn. We just need to mow the small residential ones. So for us, it's super low money that we have to put down. We just buy a push mower off Facebook Marketplace in the beginning, and we can push mow like all these people's properties instead of having to get a big zero turn or buy a big trailer. Like that's a lot of money up front. Now, down the road, you can maybe upgrade to those larger properties per se, but I don't know what your area or scenario is like. Maybe all of the people around you in a 5 mile radius, 10 mile radius, all have large properties. Okay, well, then if that's the case, I would probably look at some type of zero turn, something used, Facebook Marketplace. It doesn't need to be brand new, something to get me started, and then let that gain me customers, and then go out and get 20 to 25 new customers. I'd rather you put the money towards marketing instead of a big brand new mower, right? I'd rather you take just a couple grand, go buy a used zero turn that at least works, and then you take the other few dollars that you have, go put it towards marketing, flyers, door hangers, go door to door with your time, because that's what you have a lot of right now is time. Get the word out, and then from there gain 20 to 25 new customers, and then let those 25 new customers buy you that new piece of equipment. You know what I mean? Too many
Yes.
people go out and they buy the office and they buy the phones and they don't have any phone calls coming in yet. They don't have any sales coming down the pipeline yet. But yet they bought an office and they bought 5 computers and 5 phones, and they're like, all right, we're in business now. And then there's not a lot of sales coming in. And it's like, well, we just spent all this money on this equipment. Let's go out and get the work first, and then we'll get the equipment, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. And I actually I started off with my dad's push mower when I was going door to door when I was still in high school, and I would just do my neighborhood and all that. And then there was one of my neighbors that was throwing away a riding tractor, old, really old. That was when I was like 16, I believe. Me and my dad fixed it up, so it was for free. We got that tractor for free, a little one, but it had a motor and I could ride it, you know. So I was like, oh, okay. So I would go all around the neighborhoods, and even like, so look, I'm gonna show you. Let me turn the camera around.
Sure.
So this is my brother's house, and this is like the lawns that are here. This is 1 acre,
All right.
and
Yeah.
it's
So
like,
they're pretty big.
yeah, and like they're pretty much all like that, and it's all around. And here, let me turn the camera around. Um, so I started with that, and then I was like, okay, you know, I was making more money, and then I finally bought myself when I was 17. Yeah, 17 or 18. 17. a brand new tractor and bigger with that money that I was getting from. So I started from zero too, like just scrapping. It was the tractor, like, we fixed it up and it worked. And that's all I used from to build up the money that I was getting to get a brand new tractor from Home Depot, I believe. And I still have that tractor, but now it's not like professional. So I was riding that around my neighborhoods and all that too, making money. But then I was like, no, I can't because it's taking me more time as well.
Right, right.
And what I learned is like time is money. Like I was cutting, 1 acre in 3 hours, let's say, with that tractor. It's not like really convenient. And so I was like, okay. Then I went to like more landscaping, like gardening, doing berms, um, just like more man work. And yeah, now I have a few like mowing ones, but now I rent an equipment because I don't have the money yet to buy a zero turn, which I should have bought a zero turn, but I wasn't thinking. I could have saved up a little bit more and bought myself a zero turn.
So can you sell
But
the tractor that you have?
yeah, probably.
And then maybe
Still,
put towards that money towards maybe the zero turn. But how many customers do you have? Like
so
reoccurring?
I have five, six,
Okay.
five. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's like it's tough, right? And those are maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly, maybe both.
every week. And then that one big client, it's a big house, it's a mansion, and it's a big property that I'm taking care of. And
Yeah.
it's gonna take a while. Like, and I only have three guys, including me, to
Okay,
work.
so you're still using the regular tractor to mow these lawns.
No, I rent like a
Oh,
zero turn, and then the other one's just a push one. So I just take a push mower, and it's easy. The
yeah.
one hour.
How much is it to rent?
Depends on which one, but the walk behind it's 150, and the trailer so 150 a day,
Mhm.
and then the trailer's $48.
Yeah. Okay, so say 200. And then how much are you making on all five clients when you mow them in one day?
Let's I think it was 300
Yeah, that's
because it's
pretty
a big
tight.
lawn. Yeah, it's pretty tight.
So you're spending 200 on the rental and then you're only making 300. So you're only making about $100 a day.
Yeah.
Plus I mean, are you the only one mowing or do you have other people out there helping you?
Right now it's just me and
Okay.
like the other property that I have, they help me out with like the maintenance. It's a big um project.
Yeah.
That's the only project that they've been helping me with.
All
The
right.
rest, I
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Honestly, yeah, I mean that's pretty tough. I think a couple things need to happen. I think you need to raise your prices to at least 60 an hour. If you're going to pay somebody 20 bucks an hour to mow lawns or pull weeds, right? And then I think the other thing that I would do is look at just focusing maybe more on the landscaping side because you don't need a tractor, you don't need necessarily a trailer. Do you have a truck or a vehicle?
yeah, I have a truck.
Okay, so you can haul off debris, right? So like and a lot of times if you land like a bigger project that's like maybe a 15 or 20-hour project and you're charging 60 bucks an hour, dude, all you got to do is pick up a couple of those a month and you're making decent money. So like you almost like I would say in your scenario where it's all larger properties and you don't have a zero turn yet, I don't think I would necessarily get rid of those customers per se. I would maybe try to raise prices on those because there's not much margins on that. And like if they don't bite and they leave you, then fine. Focus on the landscaping. Focus on maybe installing edging like flower beds, pulling weeds, trimming bushes, uh, raking up leaves when the fall season comes, like that's probably what I would focus on more. Number one, I think it's going to pay a little bit better too. Like I don't think they're going to balk at $60 an hour for pulling weeds and trimming bushes. Um, and then, yeah, you don't even really need equipment. And then if they ask you to mow, maybe you build a relationship with someone locally or the company you work for or whatever. Give them, those leads for now until you make enough money where you can buy a zero turn, and then you flip that switch back on and say, okay, now I'm taking mows again. And then you start to fill up your schedule. You know what I mean? But like I I think for you to have an investor come in, or you said your brother or your father-in-law
No,
or
no, my uncle.
your uncle. Okay, so yeah, for
Yeah.
him to come in, if he wants to help you out and give you something as a gift, I mean that's a whole different scenario. I mean, you could do that, but like I don't know if I would really. I mean, there's other ways to kind of like get to where you want to go. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think definitely raising the prices and focusing on landscape jobs might serve you better, just in your market where you're at. You know, and
Yeah.
and like what's the worst case scenario on all five of those? You raise, so you're charging $35 an hour. So is that each acre is taking you what, an hour, 2 hours?
Yeah, around there.
Okay, so you're charging
But,
what, $70 a cut,
yeah. But
maybe?
so this one that I'm gonna do, it's just starting this week. And I don't know how much to charge on that one. Like I told her the price, but they cut it first. So it's a real estate agent that wants me to come and do that house that she's selling.
Yeah.
But the homeowner did it herself because I give him an estimate as $1,200 because it was tall grass. And they were like, no. But then she was like, what if you can? The real estate agent, she was like, can you do it for 600 and just do what you can for $600? So not all of it, but they did it themselves. But then the real estate agent contacted me again. She was like, can you come do it every week, but just like keep it nice.
How many acres is it?
So probably take me 3 hours,
Three
but I
hours.
have to rent a mower and I have to get the trailer to haul it there. So I have to put all that in the bid.
Yeah. Okay. So in a scenario like that, so here's what you would want to do. So so if you're paying $20 an hour is what you would pay somebody to do that job. You would have to basically calculate the time for the pickup and the drop off plus the time it's going to take to cut. So if you're saying it's going to be 3 hours, let's say, I don't know how far the store is or the rental place is, but maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes to an hour to go pick up, because you're going to have to go in and do paperwork. But let's just say it's 30 minutes. So you have 3 hours for the cut, 30 minutes on the front end picking it up, 30 minutes on the back end picking up. That puts you at 4 hours. And then 4 times at least 60 an hour puts you at 240. Okay. So, I mean, if they're going to take $600, I mean, that sounds like a pretty decent deal. But to them, it was probably super, super overgrown. So it might have taken double that amount of time, on
Mm-hmm.
that first initial cut. But that's basically how we price it, is in our minds internally. I mean, we charge 80 an hour, but at our new location that we're just starting off, we're starting at 65 because we want to grow it really quickly. So similar to you, 60, $65 an hour. That's completely fair for hard physical labor. It's $1 a minute. I mean, that's pretty standard. If it takes me 30 minutes, it should be $30. Like that's not, I don't think that's unreasonable, for a lot of people. And if
Yeah.
it is unreasonable for them, you probably need to find a different customer, you know. But just knowing that, I think will automatically, in doing that, double whatever you're doing. So like you have 5 customers right now. If you tomorrow potentially just out of the blue said, hey, prices gone up, instead of it being 35 an hour, inflation, this, that, and the third, I mean, even you go up to 50 an hour. At least you get $15 more, per hour on that. But yeah, that's probably what I would do. It's tough in your spot because you could go out there with a push mower. I've push mowed 1 acre properties before when I first started. It can be done. Okay.
Yes, it can be done.
But it's not really reasonable. Like you said, time is money. But I think with only 5 customers, I mean, you can do that on a Saturday when you're not working, right? If you're working a job right now, Monday through Friday, you just do those on Saturdays. I mean, that's not like it's not a ton of work. You know what I mean? To where
Oh,
you need a zero turn. Like what I'm saying. Anytime that we look at equipment, at buying equipment, what I look at is how many days out of the week are we going to use this? Like one of our guys was like, "Hey, we need a 30-inch mower," and all our properties are super small, rinky-dink properties, like cookie cutter properties. And I said, "Okay, well, before I go out and spend $3,000 on a 30-inch mower, I'm going to borrow a 30-inch from my buddy who owns a lawn care company." And he gave me his Skag, the 30-inch mower. He let me use it for the day, and I put it on the guy's truck, our employee's truck, who was asking me about it, who was bugging me about it. And I said, okay, well, we gave you, well, some of our larger properties today. Go out and use it, do what you do. So he gets back at the end of the day, unloads it, and I say, so how was the 30-inch mower? He said, well, he's like, I didn't use it. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't use it? We gave you some of our larger properties. He was like, yeah, they were too small. We need to use it on our big commercial properties, which we only had 2 at the time, big commercial properties. And I said, okay, you just told me what I need to know. I said, I'm not going out and I'm not buying a $3,000 piece of equipment for it to sit in the garage or shop 4.5 days out of the week. I'm not doing it. Use the 21-inch mower on the big commercial properties. Like, at least the 21-inch mowers get run all day, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
mm-hmm.
So like that's another question that you want to ask yourself. And I know you're just starting out and I know you only have 5 customers, but like, to go out and buy a brand new zero turn right now, I think it may be more beneficial to potentially use the tractor that you got, even though it takes you longer. Now, once you get to maybe 10 or 15 customers, then you can be like, okay, what if I did get a zero turn? Would I be able to do these in half the amount of time and then go out and sell more jobs and get to 30 customers? Okay, that kind of makes sense to me, right? Or I mean, you could do that now, but like I said, don't buy the equipment for it to only get used 4 hours on a Saturday and mow 5 properties, and then the other 6 days out of the week it's not doing much. You know what I mean? So try to get the sales first. Try to get the sales up to maybe 10 or 15 customers. And then the other thing that we look at too is like, how long is it going to take to get my money back? Right. So if you go out and and let's not even say you go out and buy a commercial Skag or anything. Let's just say you go out and buy a brand new residential zero turn for $5,000, right? Tomorrow, which isn't that expensive, but it's probably pretty expensive in the beginning. Okay. How long is it going to take you with only 5 customers? And you said you're making how much? 300 out off of all of them?
Yeah, around there.
So, I mean, we're already in July. So, I mean, we've got what? I mean, probably maybe 12 to 15 more cuts left in the season until the winter comes. Well, you're up in Wyoming, so it probably gets colder sooner. So
Yeah.
let's just say 10 more cuts, right? 10 more weeks of the mowing season anyway. Maybe it's 12. I don't know. That's only $3,000. And that doesn't even account for the rental, which you wouldn't have to rent. But like if you bought it for $5,000 and you're only going to make $3,000 for the year, like you're going to be negative 2K. So let's make ends meet now. So that way we'll just stack money on the side, maybe take half or a quarter of what you're making now and just put it in a fund until you get 3-4 grand and then go out and buy a gently used one. And then from there you can kind of upgrade. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like the other project that I'm going to do, and I might do it for this one that I was telling you about. I have another one that just came in, and I'm gonna take the tractor. Just rent the trailer, which is $48 for the full day, and I'll probably do those 2 mowing jobs because they're like 30 minutes away. One's where I live, and then I have to come back like 25 minutes to the other job that I got, the one I was talking to you about. And I'll probably just use my tractor. That's what I was thinking too, because 150 that's coming, well, I would put it into the client pay for it, but it's also like, I'm not really making that much money. So I can make more money with my tractor as well. That's what I was thinking as well,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
use what I have, and just rent the trailer for now.